Hello, hello! Welcome back to Brenda's Books. Thank you so much for joining me for Season 4. I'm so glad to have you back. So this season, I will bring you a short story each week. Today is a flash fiction story, which happens to be a story based off true events in my life. Speaking of which, if you sign up for Brenda's Books bonus content, the first episode there is about a real person who inspired the fiction character of Daphne from Season 1, and that real person happens to be me. So if you would like to hear the details about that, you absolutely can by becoming a member of Brenda's Books. And you can do that by following the link in the show notes. Another perk of becoming a member is you will be able to vote for what my next story will be here in Season 4. So for instance, if you sign up to become a member within the next few days, you will have access to that poll, which will determine what next week's short story is. So there you go. Anyway, without further ado, here is the very first flash fiction story of the season, which is called First Rude Customer, Check. How may I help you, sir? The old man didn't seem to hear me as he continued to stare at the packages of glue sticks hanging on aisle 3. Sir, you called for assistance. What can I do for you? The man slowly craned his neck to look at me. His eyes flared like an angry cat. You can get your head out of the clouds, Blondie, he said with disdain. Excuse me? You don't know anything. Get me your supervisor. I can help you if I know your question. He batted a wrinkly hand at me. I saw you getting trained over at the register. It's your first day. I'm not going to waste any more time with you. His large potbelly bumped past me in the small aisle, knocking over several boxes of pens onto the floor. First rude customer, check. Before I started working here at Office Max, I made a list of all the things I thought I would run into. I already checked off the first item on my list this morning, when my coworker Tisha tried to get me to steal. She pulled me down behind the counter of the copy center, her big green eyes and crimped yellow hair right next to my nose. Look at these art pictures, Lynn. They're pretty, right? I made them from that colored paper in aisle 6. I got one for you. Here, put it in your backpack before someone sees. No thanks, I said, my voice higher than usual. My integrity is worth a lot more than a few dollars. Tisha jolted her head back in shock. Then she scowled at me like I had just insulted her purpose of being. Maybe I had. I'm definitely not going to be on her list of faves anytime soon. Coworker wants me to steal, or get high or something. Check. That episode led me to the third item on my list. Just outside the break room, I heard Tisha speaking in her high, sassy voice. Lynn is such a know-it-all. She thinks she's so much better than me because I took a lousy piece of paper. I mean, when she accidentally keeps a pen, does she call that stealing? Gossip in the coworker clubhouse? Check. I entered the break room. Everyone hushed and took some very deliberate bites of their hamburgers. Which brings me to number 4, a break room reeking with months-old nasty fast food aroma. Check. But seriously, how long has it been since that room was cleaned? Then the rush hit. I was so busy trying to keep the checkout line moving, and answering the incessant phones before 3 rings, and making regular announcements over the intercom, that the cash in my register was off by $3.10. Which merits a write-up. First write-up, check. At least for a while during my shift, things were fairly normal. I got to build a display of ink cartridges and answer some nice customers' questions, meaning I had to call for someone else since I didn't know anything. Look like a know-nothing employee? Check. At one point, a little old hunchbacked lady asked if someone could carry a box of paper out to her car for her. All the boys were on break at the moment, and all the girls were too entitled, so I carried the box of paper out for her myself, and busted my back in the process. First work injury? Check. I walked home in twisted pain with my bike limping beside me. First flat tire? Check. I lay on my bed in my dorm, groaning in pain. My roommate entered the room and dumped her books on her desk. What's with you, Lynn? She asked as she flipped her dark curls behind her shoulders. Look at this, Shirley, I said weakly. I handed her my checklist of feared encounters at my new job. Every single one of these happened today. Shirley looked it over, grinning occasionally. Well, you must be very happy with yourself, she said, as she threw the paper that flitted onto my stomach. What? You've completed everything on your list? That never happens to me. I let out a chuckle, which only made my back hurt more. I propped my arm over my face. You think I should go back tomorrow? Well, I've never seen giving up on one of your checklists before. I peek under my elbow to see Shirley grinning at me. True that, but maybe I should put see a doctor at the top of my next one. Good idea. I'll take you, Shirley said, snatching her huge black purse off her desk. Come on, let's go. She grabbed my elbow and put a hand on my back as she gingerly coaxed me upright. On our way to her car, I decided I should make up a different kind of checklist. One that started with something like this. First caring roommate. Check. And that concludes your very first flash fiction story. And yes, all of those things did happen to me when I worked at Office Max in Los Angeles. It was like 20 years ago. Not all on the same day, of course. In fact, the flat tire happened, I think, probably 1,000,000 times. And I didn't always respond the way Lynn did, but I ran into a lot of those situations. In fact, I have so many stories about that place that I plan on sharing in one of my bonus content episodes this month. Anyway, I hope you can join me next week for another short story, and I hope you become a member of Brenda's Books so that you can cast in your vote for what the story will be. I hope you are having a wonderful new year, and as always, I wish you a very wonderful week. Until next time, take care.